Hi gardeners, welcome back to the Ultimate Gardening channel. My name is Emmanuel Arstead, well known to be the Ultimate Gardener. In today's exciting sprouting video, we have Joshua from Joshua's Garden over to explain to you guys into depth all about different methods and techniques about propagation. You guys know that propagation is one of my favorite gardening techniques to do because I'm able to multiply the plants I love and admire at a way easier way and without spending a huge amount of money. So propagation has been a technique that's been in the garden industry for a long time now, but there's different branches of propagation that you probably did not know of and are interested in learning more about. So Joshua is actually a student studying all about plant science, and one of his branches of study is propagation. He's learning so much about it, and I asked him as a favor if he could talk to you guys about and discuss with you guys an in-depth video on all different types of the main common propagation techniques that are out there in the garden industry. So without further ado, here's Joshua to explain to you guys more into depth about different branches of propagation.
Hey guys, my name is Josh, a part of the Joshua's Garden YouTube channel. If you don't know me, I like to make a lot of gardening videos. I live in Rhode Island in a zone 6B, and I'm interested in a lot of landscaping things, but I also go to school for plant sciences at the University of Rhode Island, as you can see on my shirt here. And one of the classes that I'm taking is called Plant Propagation. There's a bunch of different fun projects that we've been working on this semester, so I just figured I would share a few of them with you that I thought were really cool, and a couple of different things that you actually could work on in your own gardens if you want to. So the first is air layering. Now, air layering is when you want to propagate a branch that is already growing on a tree that hasn't been cut yet, and I ended up doing this with an alley fig in the greenhouse down at URI. So the first thing I did was I stripped the cambium, which is the outermost green layer, which will prevent nutrients from flowing between the plant, but it still allows water exchange. It was just a small little section that I cut from that cambium. Next thing I did was I wrapped that branch with wet sphagnum moss, and then I wrapped that with plastic wrap, and then finally I tied it off with twist tie on the ends that kind of sealed that section, and it created a dark, moist environment for that branch. So by creating that moist, dark environment for the plant, it's going to encourage root growth. And I think we're about a month into this project right now, and I am starting to see roots on it. So I'm very excited about that. Next is going to be softwood and hardwood cuttings. Now, softwood cuttings is going to be anything that's herbaceous, which means that it doesn't develop a woody stem. The softwood cuttings that I used were lantana, a variety called New Gold. And what we were doing with these cuttings was testing hormone strength to see how well they will root in. So we had 25 cuttings in total, and then it was 5 groups of 5. We had a control group, a hormone 1, 2, 3, and then a 4.5, and that's just in terms of strength. And the basic idea with using plant hormones is plants have hormones just like humans, and the hormone that induces rooting is called auxin. So auxin is added to these rooting hormones, and when you have auxin mix with the plant, it's going to encourage it to root. So I dipped each cutting in the appropriate rooting hormone, unless it was the control, then I didn't have anything at all. We put them in these things called oasis cubes, and then they went in a misting tent, which sprayed each plant with mist for 20 seconds every 30 minutes. This kept a very high humidity environment, and that's really important when you are rooting cuttings. Now, if you want to do this on your own terms, you certainly don't need a misting tent to do it, but if you have like an extra clear plastic tub, you can put cuttings in that and then use a spray bottle, and I'd say just once a day, spray everything down pretty well, and then keep that sealed to keep the moisture in. The biggest thing I noticed with these cuttings in the end is the stronger the rooting hormone, the better roots I ended up getting. Now the next group was with hardwood cuttings. We basically did the same exact thing, 25 cuttings, 5 groups of 5, but this was with a blue princess blue holly. The most important thing with woody cuttings is you need to wound them, because when you wound them, that's where the roots can potentially come out of. So I just stripped the bottom leaves off, and it created these strips in the bark, and that allowed it to wound. The great thing about this was that actually all of my cuttings ended up surviving for the holly, and they rooted in very well. But pretty much the same premise as last time. The stronger the rooting hormone, the better they ended up rooting. Also, now I have 25 holly cuttings that I need to do something with, so I'm going to add that to the garden plan. The next is going to be how media affects how plants root. This, I used a variety of lavender called Phenomenal, and then we did 5 different groups, 5 different types of media for these cuttings. Same thing as 25 cuttings, and then we did 5 in each group. But the first one was a 1-to-3 ratio of peat and perlite, perlite by itself, peat by itself, coir, like coconut coir, and then oasis cubes. What we ended up realizing was that the peat perlite did the best. And when you see, factories and other companies that do their own rooting and propagation, they pretty much all use peat perlite. So you kind of know that that's the standard now. The last thing I wanted to share, which is still one of many, I think we ended up doing like 15 projects so far this semester, but one thing we did was called root cuttings. And this is where you basically take roots of a plant and then you can propagate those roots to give you new plants. So we did this with hellebores, a native pachysandra, I think I'm saying it right, but sarcocoa, and then a perennial geranium. So when you do have root cuttings, you have to make sure that you orient them properly. Otherwise, if you try to put the shoot end, like the top end of that root, down and then the root end up, it's not going to end up growing because it's only going to be able to grow roots from one end and then grow shoots from the other end. To prevent any orientation issues, what you actually can do is just lay them flat and then cover them with a little bit of soil, and then you just keep them consistently moist, and then you can literally see the shoot coming out from one end and then the roots coming out from another. It's actually quite a sight to see. And that's another really easy project that with certain plants, you can easily make a whole bunch more of those plants just by taking root cuttings. I just wanted to mention too that we did some grafting in this class, and I'm really excited to see some of my trees that I've created, but they were all tied up inside and they had to be in a high moist environment, so I just couldn't show you them now. But you could take a look at my channel in the next maybe month or so, and I will definitely be able to give you an update on those trees. So that's all I really have for you. I just wanted to thank Emmanuel once again for having me on his channel. I really appreciate this, and I hope you guys all have a great day.
So that's gonna be it for this exciting sprouting video. I'll be leaving all of Josh's. So that's gonna be it for this exciting sprouting video. Once again, I'll be leaving all of Joshua's media links in the description box below for easier access. Make sure to go follow him and show him some support. He's a great gardener and has a lot of information to provide. So thank you all so much for watching this video. May God bless you and your entire family, and never forget to grow big, ultimate gardeners. Bye guys.